Hi, this is Maggie Moreno, integral coach and mentor from the website aliveinAwareness.com. In this video from the series Finding Your Life Purpose, we're going to talk about strengths, finding your strengths. Now, finding your strengths is really, really important, and although most people would probably think that they know theirs, that's not often the case. So here I'm going to talk about two things. First of all, how to find your strengths, and I'll give you a couple of really easy exercises. And the second part is how to actually assess whether you're living to your strengths or not. So strengths are different from values in that strengths are what we're good at, and values are basically what we care about. One of the best ways to get to know your strengths better is to basically get feedback from others. And this is obviously a very quick, effective way of finding out, and it's also totally free. So there's two exercises that I would suggest to you. One of them is to, first of all, sit down and think, what are my top 4 strengths? Try to keep it to 4 or no more than 5, because we want clarity and we want simplicity. We want you to be able to refer back to your strengths, so you don't want to have a very long list. So this should be general virtues like confidence or kindness, or strength, like commitment. Not specific skills like driving well or writing well. So think about different areas of your life to try to identify these strengths. What do you get complimented on? What do people ask you for help with? What do you find easy that others around you might find hard? If you have lots of answers and you end up with a very long list, try to group them into clusters so that you can just put the similar ones together and come up with, as I say, 4 or 5 words. And if you have trouble with this, or if you get negative ones, if you feel like, for instance, you're a bit arrogant and that comes across as one of your main characteristics, then try turning it around to confidence, for instance. So try to make any perceived negative strengths into positive ones. The second exercise that I would suggest you do is to ask feedback. So get others involved. It's very easy. You can use social media. You can send a text message to at least 10, 20 people and ask them why you're doing this if you want, or just say, I'm trying to hone in on my strengths and I would love your feedback. And again, virtues, not specific skills. So when you have both of their responses and your responses, collate them and see if you can come up with 4 or 5 words that will truly give you a sense of what your strengths are, and see if you're surprised by any of them. Sometimes we are, and sometimes there's a mismatch. Oftentimes there's a bit of a mismatch between how we're perceived by others in terms of our strengths and how we perceive ourselves. So that in and of itself is a very interesting exercise. There is a bit of vulnerability to this exercise, so I would urge you to contact people can be constructive and supportive, but it is really a very, very good exercise. So the second part of this is, okay, now I know a bit more about my strengths. How do you harness them to live a life with purpose? And the point here is to try to assess with as much awareness as possible and as least judgment as possible whether you live your day-to-day life to these strengths. Do you employ them at work, at home, socially, in terms of your self-care? If there's big differences across areas of your life, then that is also very good sort of feedback to yourself, because the idea here is that you will use your strengths every single day and you will bring them to everything you do, because it's what you do well, so why not harness them? So if this exercise brings negative or difficult emotions for you, then it could be that you've got some blocks and some I guess unworked issues around seeing yourself and seeing your strengths. In the next video we'll be talking about blocks, so make sure you check in for that, and I hope this is useful. Take care now.